PLOD, particle theory. Well, if you break matter up into smaller and smaller bits, we call those smallest parts simply particles. For example, atoms are the smallest particles that make up elements or other substances too. Sulfur contains particles that have mass, volume, and reactivity, and all sulfur atoms are basically the same. Lithium, which is a different element, also is made up of particles that have a certain mass and volume and reactivity. It's just that the lithium atoms are different from sulfur. Well, let's have a look then at particles themselves. They can stick together and hold their shape, slide by each other, or even bounce apart with lots of empty space in between. The solids hold their own shape and volume, whereas liquids just hold volume, but they can change shape. Gases expand to fill the container, which is why you can't have a container that's half full of gas. It will simply expand to fill that. Now, what I want to do is look at something called heating curves. We consider a substance such as water, for example, which goes from ice to liquid water to steam. If we draw a graph and put temperature on the vertical scale, let's say in degrees Celsius, and then have time go by, we could start heating ice at the low temperature of negative 273. But as it heated, it would go through regions that did not show an increase in temperature, even though we kept heating. These are phase changes, and we can mark them off with little subdivisions to show the various different parts. The first phase, the least amount of movement, is the solid phase. And we heat a solid in a way that is uniform. It will raise temperature in a uniform way. It will then begin melting and be a mixture of solid plus liquid, and when all the solid is gone, it becomes liquid. Liquid water will begin to boil, and you'll have steam and liquid water, and eventually all the water turns to gas. The melting point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, and its boiling point is 100. Boiling is turning a liquid into a gas, and condensing is the opposite, whereas melting is turning a solid into a liquid, and freezing is the opposite. The melting point is the temperature at which a solid turns into a liquid. So if I asked you for the melting point of water, you should give me a number, 0 on a temperature scale. The boiling point is just the temperature at which a liquid turns into a gas. And that's it for our look at particle theory. Thanks very much.